Hey, everybody, good morning. Happy Thursday, June 27th. Plant-based morning show presented by Compliment. That's lovecompliment.com. Back. This is our first normal episode of the week. We don't have a guest and we're on a normal day. And it's Thursday. The week's basically done. So that's pretty good. I'm on vacation. I'm ready to check out as soon as this is over. And just maybe get to the beach today.
Oh.
I don't know. Start a little early. Next week's the official vacation week, but today may be the actual beginning.
I mean, when at the beach, head to the beach, right?
Why not? I mean, if you're gonna have a 7-day trip and you have an option of having 3 more days,
yeah,
just do it.
Generally. What else? Are you doing anything else fun at the beach? Or are you? I don't know.
No, not really anything fun. I mean, just like my family, my mom's side of the family, they have houses here, some of them, and so everyone kind of gets together over 4th of July. People come and go, and we'll just be here for a little while. So it should be good. It should be a nice time.
If I remember correctly, someone at this 4th of July dinner last year wanted to pick your brain about the carnivore diet. I'll be curious to hear if that person
that's right
explored it or not. Ended up doing the whole carnivore thing.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's funny when she asked that was like my first sign that this was a real diet. Like, because I really had thought it was a joke before. Like when Liver King was the first person I heard of doing the carnivore diet, and I kind of thought it was just like a social media joke kind of thing, like to try and get attention and all that. And then you heard about a few other people doing it, and like now it's just a serious diet contender. You don't really see it in you don't go to the bookstore that much these days, but it's not like I don't know. When I do go to the bookstore, it's not like I go to the diet section and see a bunch of carnivore books. So I guess it hasn't reached that level yet, the way keto and paleo and all that stuff. Has it.
Uh-oh, I'm losing you.
Sorry.
Is it just me?
Okay, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Yeah, I got a warning that says my connection was lost.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem to have reached quite the level of like keto, like you said, or where everybody is actually doing it, but people are talking about it, and people know about it, right?
Definitely,
and that's different.
Yeah, I do wonder, like, is it? To me, it appears fundamentally different because of this whole thing about you don't get basically that it's anti. Well, I don't know if it's anti. It is anti-vegetable, right? A lot of like paleo, keto, at least those still said eat lots of vegetables. This one is basically not saying that. And I don't know if it's saying vegetables are bad, but it's basically saying meat is better, and that is the belief.
Well, I mean, there was the whole slogan: "Kale is BS," right? I mean, like, it is saying that some certain vegetables are bad.
Yeah, right. It is. So it just that seems so in the face of traditional nutritional guidance that it's hard to take it seriously for me still. And the other thing is this idea that there is no long-term research on it at all. So you are just taking a risk, hoping that the theories and the mechanisms about how it will work in the body are good. I've actually done some thinking about this a lot, and this is not new. I've said this a long time ago, but there's it's not at all surprising that a diet like that will make you look and feel really good in the short term. Like whenever, if let's say that were the more natural way to eat than a plant-based diet, and I don't really think it is, but that's the argument. Like that's the way that people evolved eating. That will get you as far as nature gets you, but nature doesn't care about living a long time. Nature's about getting to reproductive age and living a few years after that to support the children. So, it increases fecundity, a diet like that, where your ability to reproduce, your maybe attractiveness to the opposite sex, muscle size, all kinds of things that seem like good, but nature only cares that much. Like in order to live a long time, you have to do something that is not the quote unquote natural diet, and you need to look at the research and see what has you live the longest. So I just think a lot of people on carnivore are falling for this idea that they feel great and look great in the short term. Therefore, this is the best diet for long-term health. And I think that's a mistake. So anyway, I don't know. Who knows where this will go? Vegan Stallion says it's a meme, and that might be right. It kind of is a meme. People get sucked in. He says, but hardly anyone can stick with it for any amount of time. Yeah, and so that's not to mention, of course, the difficulty of sticking with it, the actual compliance side. So anyway, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if that relative is here. I will ask her how it's going. I think she was just curious about it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Garuda
points out, by the way, really quick, Garuda says the vegan and carnivore diet are the same, extreme diets. And I don't think that's entirely wrong. I actually do kind of put them on opposite sides of a middle where, if you want, I don't know about truth, but if you want minimal risk, as in doing something that has been traditionally done for a long time, then I think you're better moving closer to the middle, right? By being extreme enough to be vegan, you are taking some kind of risk, and that's one that I've taken. But it's not the same as being moderate. There's sort of safety in that moderation to me.
I don't know. I don't know that I fully agree. Maybe slightly. Like I understand what you're saying, but like, the plant-based diet or vegetarian diets and vegan diets have been studied to a totally different level than carnivore diets.
They're not equivalent opposites, right? Because the one has research on its side, the other one just has none. Doesn't have it against it necessarily. It just doesn't have any.
Just have any research at all, right? Yeah.
Right. So you're right. They're not equivalent in that way.
Mm-hmm. It kind of makes me think of have you seen this new trend? They call it raw dogging airplane flights.
No. What
it's basically it's no water, no food, no headphones, no screens, except you have to watch the like plane tracker and see basically how like basically you just have to sit there.
You have to watch that, or that's just your only option?
I think that you have to watch it. I think you're supposed to put it up on the screen, and it's almost like because it's so slow, it almost makes it harder kind of thing. And how far people can go. So people are doing like coastal flights, East Coast, West Coast. Somebody did like to Australia, like all this kind of crazy stuff. And it's like become this thing where these guys it's all guys who are probably carnivore types, being like, how can I be the most like macho, I don't know. I don't get it. Like, and that's like, I think that we are just so far into this, trying to one up each other and like prove our masculinity and prove our ability to withstand discomfort and pain that, I mean, it's just like,
it sounds like ultra running, by the way, what you're describing.
What's that?
I said, this sounds a lot like you're talking about ultra running.
Well,
it sounds like
so that's
ultra
what I was
running.
about to say.
We're standing and one-upping each other and trying to see who can last the longest under discomfort.
Well, I mean, in that like some of these like made up races and runs are kind of like that, right? Except that at least those you have to train for and work for. Like these are just people who are like, I'm gonna suffer for the next 12 hours, while I sit on the flight, and then I'm gonna post on social media about it to get all these kudos. Like I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know what there is to truly gain from this kind of mindset, but it just seems like it's in everything now. And and this is coming from someone who likes to suffer, who likes cold plunges, who likes ultra running, likes, I don't know, being in, staying up all night because I'm running for 100 miles. Like it's just weird. People are weird, man.
You definitely see a lot more of alpha beta male conversation distinction than you used to. Like I feel like that is now something people strive for, is to like be as alpha as you can, which is, I don't know, I guess it's all right, but I mean alpha's alpha for, like there's only one alpha right in a group, and so like if everyone's trying to be it, it's just sort of stupid. I don't know. What's the deal with the airplane, the water thing? Like you're just trying to suffer. It's not a health thing and thinking this.
No, there's no health aspect of it at all.
Just show that you can do it, and maybe you strengthen yourself by doing it, right?
Right.
Okay. Interesting.
I saw who not really a friend of mine, but I think of a friend of No Meat Athlete, the Impossible HQ guy.
Mm-hmm. Joe Runyon.
Yeah, Joe Runyon just did a cross country flight around it, and like that. Yeah,
that's not surprising to me. I don't know if he was ever that type. I don't know if he's into the carnivore and stuff, but he always liked the suffering stuff. He was into the cold showers for a long time, and pretty early on that. And he just liked doing things that people thought were impossible, just to do them. All right, let's see. There's a little more about vegan stuff. Garuda clarified and says carnivore similar to vegan. It mostly avoids processed food, still missing some nutrients. I think that's fair. Like my point was there's this effect called the Lindy effect that this guy Talib describes in he wrote Fooled by Randomness and the Black Swan and things like that. But the idea is the longer something's been around, the longer it is likely to continue to be around. Like, the more likely it is good if it has lasted this long. So, like looking at inventions, you got the wheel or any of these, ancient inventions that are still around. They're not going anywhere because we need those things. It's clear they've proven their worth, and they're your much better bet than the latest, .com company or technology that is out, because if something's, even if it's a new hot thing, if it's only been around for a year or two, there's very little evidence on its side to say this is a lasting thing. So that's how when I say that both diets are sort of unproven in the long run, that's what I mean. Like, if you have, like, talking about a very sort of a diet that includes some meat, some vegetables, that has persisted, you have to imagine, has persisted tens of thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years. And so to me, that's like the quote unquote safe bet if you do it in a totally unprocessed way. Whereas either vegan or carnivore, by comparison to that, even with some research on their sides or on the side of vegan, very, very new, right? And just relatively unproven in that way.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I get that. That makes sense. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, obviously I'm vegan, so it's not like that has influenced my choice to change. Because I do think, obviously, we've got a lot of research on our side. But anyway, just putting in perspective. All right. Anything else, Doug, before we jump into our weather report? We have some good stuff today. I always forget to update that title now.
Why don't you do that real quick?
Okay, I'm going to do
that. Let's see. Go ahead into the weekend. Don't have too much planned. Got a swim meet on Saturday morning. Our first away meet that we're going to, so that'll be fun.
That'll be fun.
But yeah, I mean, just gearing up for the 4th of July. We're off all next week. No shows next week, right? So I will be searching high and low for some Oscar Mayer not dogs.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of that, you sent me this link, this Netflix thing.
Yeah.
Joey Chestnut versus, what's the guy's name? Kobayashi. And apparently the two haven't come face to face in 15 years. And Netflix is now, since Joey Chestnut was not able to participate in this Nathan's thing on 4th of July, the annual hot dog eating contest from Major League Eating, the sanctioned group of Major League Eating, they're doing their own thing. And I guess it's not a league event, but it's on September 2nd, which I'm guessing is Labor Day. Just seems like a good day they would do that thing.
I wondered about that. Yeah.
And I guess it's just a heads up hot dog eating contest. And of course, Joey Chestnut wasn't able to do his because of an Impossible Foods partnership that he has. So I don't know if it wasn't that Impossible wasn't letting him. So I think it was just the Major League Eating one because it conflicted with the Nathan sponsorship. Right. So I'm guessing he's not eating plant-based hot dogs for this, right? Like, I didn't see any mention of that.
Yeah, it didn't mention what kind of hot dogs they were eating. I'm assuming not, but yeah, I mean, this is he's probably cashing in way more. I mean, this is like, was it planned? I don't know.
That's a good question. And the whole he knew the whole time that this would prevent him from being in the Major League Eating competition. Yeah. I mean,
Netflix is trying to get into the live sports and live.
I saw that. I saw they're doing the Tyson and what's his name fight,
Logan Paul or whatever, one of the Paul brothers. But that guy can't. Mike Tyson had a heart event or something on an airplane.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that got canceled. But I mean, just other stuff too. They're just trying to do more other fights, and I think they might even have like some sporting, some Major League sporting contracts next year and stuff like that. So like maybe like Joey and Netflix were in talks long before he got banned, and he realized it doesn't really matter if I don't compete on 4th of July because I'm going to make $1 million eating for Netflix.
Well, I'm way more likely to watch the Netflix thing than I would be to watch the actual eating competition, the 4th of July Major League Eating event. Mainly because I've never watched one of those things, so there's something that prevents me from watching those. But on Netflix, I don't know if it's like, and it's available as a recording. Very likely, I would check that out at some point. I don't know why, but the point is, a lot of people like me will now check it out.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I just think the whole thing is funny. So
I mean, I feel like I'll be rooting for Joey Chestnut though. Is he? I mean, I guess he's American, so he's probably everybody's guy. But to me, I feel like he's our vegan guy now. So like he's who we would root for, even if he's eating beef hot dogs or whatever, pork hot dogs.
Yeah. What if they end up using Nathan hot dogs? That'd be funny.
All right. Well, let's jump into weather report here and get going. I should tease what we got later. 2 articles. One interesting is that Colorado has banned a bunch of forever chemicals, forever plastics, maybe in dental flosses and things like that. I'm already ahead of that game. I'm already choosing the dental flosses that don't have the PFAS in them. But we'll get into that and how it affects your outdoor industry, Doug, the sales of outdoor materials. So we'll get into that in a minute, and then possibly another one about corn doing hybrid meats coming up. Anyway, as for the weather report, no music today. I don't have my other computer with me, but there's another big headline about plant-based meats and heart health. I skipped this yesterday. I mean, we had Robert on, but I skipped it for the weather report because I thought it was just a rehashing of what we saw, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, the big meta-analysis of 50 different years worth of studies, or maybe it was 20 years of studies and 50 studies in that time. I don't know. This one, another big one from 1970 to 2023. They looked at a bunch of studies and found the takeaway, the headline that NBC and others, Yahoo, I saw it on, are publishing, is that plant-based alternatives, despite being ultra-processed, may be healthier for the heart than meat, says this new report. The small details that I got from this article, I didn't go much to the actual study, are that risk factors for heart disease, including total cholesterol, LDL cholesterol, and body weight, were improved when various animal-based meats were replaced with a substitute made from plants. That is from the NBC.com article. The one caveat here, the hesitation I have, this was Matthew Nagra was the head guy here. And do you recognize that name, Doug?
No.
He is the one who often, you see him on Instagram, at least I do. Plant-based news, I think, works with him a lot. And often you'll see him like talk with the background of some other study. You'll see his head there, maybe, or maybe he'll just be interviewed in between, but he'll be commenting on these, like usually pro meat articles, and he'll be sort of the plant-based advocate for those things and saying why this is wrong. And he'll kind of debunk it. So he's, a science-based kind of guy. He's a doctor. But I guess and I don't know if this is fair, but when I see that someone like that is in charge of the study, and I know he's a pro plant-based guy, I need to think like, well, can I trust this? I mean, it's just like, I know if he's doing the study and he's publishing it, it's not going to be saying meat is good. It's I don't know. So does it add anything when someone like that comes in? But like, maybe he became a plant-based guy because he does research and that's what he found. Right. And that's how he formed this viewpoint. And now this is what he's going to, do. So I don't know quite what to think about it, but the mainstream media has taken this one, and that's a good thing because usually mainstream media twist the headlines to make them anti-plant-based. So this is good.
Yeah. I mean, that's tough, right? Because obviously if you're pro, if you're very vocally pro one side, then it means, everyone is going to, it's easy to look at that and say, well, he's not going to come out with a study that's, that's against what he preaches elsewhere. But you got to look at the merits of the study, and I haven't, so I can't comment on that. But you got to look at the merits of the study and the data, and go from there. And you would assume that if he's going to put his name on it, it would be, it would be pretty good. So, I don't know. It's good news. It's good news. It's good news that the mainstream media is speaking positively about plant-based diets, and also, I mean, I don't know, like so much of what we have seen is that it's kind of lumping the highly processed, burgers and things as not particularly good for you or bad for you. And so, but like whole food burgers and things like that as being, obviously much healthier. And so it's nice to see that this is potentially healthier than a all beef burger or something like that as well.
Right. Yep. All right, Vegan Stallion's getting on me for my unwarranted suspicion and shade that I am throwing Dr. Nagra's way. It says, not fair. He cites everything and follows the science. Show me where he's wrong. I'm not saying anything about him being wrong or that he's not great. I like seeing him on these videos because I like when he defends the plant-based diet. I'm just saying, if you put Dr. Greger on here or the Dr. Campbell, Dr. Esselstyn, and they publish new research, same as PCR. PCRM is a good example, right? I never really, whenever PCRM comes out with new stuff, I'm like, I can't it just doesn't mean anything to me. It's not that I think they are wrong. It's just I know they're going to publish the plant-based results. So I guess when I think of what is noise and what is signal, I think, if you give me something from someone who I think is neutral, it's just going to be more meaningful. I don't know. So, but I'm not.
It's the same as funding coming from, funding for, health of dairy coming from the dairy industry, or from a plant, if Oatly funded a new study on oat milk, something like that. Like, it's automatically, that's why people publicize or are transparent about the funding, and why people publicize funding sources, is because it influences, it can influence how a study is done, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it has to. Doesn't mean it automatically, means that study is useless. It just means that it's important transparency.
Yep. Yeah. On the other hand, I get why vegan science is mad, right? Like I said, if Dr. Nagra has come to the point of being a plant-based advocate because of all his research has pointed him that way, then what's he supposed to do, right? Now I just can't. I don't know. It's like I'm not saying anything that he's doing anything wrong, right? He's doing exactly what he should be doing. Keep publishing stuff, staying pro plant-based. Once you get the reputation as a plant-based advocate, I guess new research doesn't mean that much to me. But anyway, all right. Plant-based vegan science. I don't know if he's mad. He's off to the gym for leg day. See you in a couple weeks. Facts are on the plant-based side. In general, I agree with you.
I'm just glad vegan science isn't skipping leg day. Important day.
Right. That's right. Most important. Okay. All right. Next one. Jalen Brown, Celtics player. I guess he's still playing. I don't keep up with the NBA. I don't keep up with really any professional sports. A little bit of soccer, but I'm not like I used to be. Anyway, he led the Celtics to banner number 18. I don't even know when that was. How long ago did the Celtics win?
Like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, maybe.
Oh, they won this year. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't even know that. Anyway, he missed out on the All-Star team this year, but he in an interview, he talks about when he decided to go vegan. I don't know if it was known before. I don't think he was mentioned in plant-based athlete. I know some of the Celtics players were, but Robert much more up on the athletes than I am, as you can tell. But anyway, so he, I guess now is revealing that he was vegan. He said, when I turned 24, I decided to go vegan, and that instantly kind of shifted a lot of different things. That year, I was an all-star for the first time. He said, so that had a correlation. I was just moving differently. My thoughts were clear. My life changed in a sense. So that's pretty interesting. He's not vegan now, but he says, I do intermix vegan practices with my own dietary needs to do what I need to do now. At the time when I was vegan, nothing that I appreciated more than the clear thoughts, the clarity. You don't realize the stuff that you put in your body, how much it has an effect on everything. So, yeah, that's good. I mean, love to hear that. That's, to me, these are, I don't know, like those, I just think when pro athletes, superstar pro athletes come out and say a vegan diet really helped me as far as my sport goes, it's just, I think it's what people need to hear, because people still have this idea that being vegan, you can't be strong like you can if you're a carnivore.
Yeah. And he didn't even talk about recovery or strength or anything like that. It was just like moving better, feeling better, thinking better. Like, I don't know. I think that's fantastic. And obviously he's not following a vegan diet right now. And that's okay. But, but I'm sure it has influenced his eating habits. And that's like we were talking about yesterday, and what we will talk about in a little bit. Like preaching that, like sharing that message and getting people on board with that could have a bigger impact than anything else. Yeah,
definitely. And then, like you said, we will get to that in a minute, because that just seems like a big shift happening. People saying, let's not try to get everybody to go to vegan. Let's try to get everybody to eat way less meat and be.
I think it started here on the Plant-Based Morning Show. We've been talking about that for the last year and a half.
We have. We've been early. We were early on that trend. Okay, last weather report item here. Joe Erlinger, the president of McDonald's U.S. So I guess Ronald McDonald is out. He's no longer the head honcho over there.
Poor Ronald.
This Erlinger guy has said that trials of the McPlant burger in the United States were not successful. The breaking news here, the McPlant trials were not successful, despite ongoing expansion of the menu option in Europe. They tried it in San Francisco and Dallas, and not good. We already knew that, though, right? It's been years since the McPlant was I think around for any amount of time. So he said there's little demand for healthier options at McDonald's US. Even salads have been discontinued due to poor sales. So he doesn't appear ashamed of that. It's just like that's not what that business is for. That's not what they do. That's not how they make money and earn wealth for shareholders. It just doesn't have to do with health. It's a different business than that. They mentioned in this Vegconomist article that the McPlant burger, which is made with Beyond Meat, by the way, or in collaboration with them, continues to perform well in Europe. They say it rolled out in Switzerland and Slovenia last September. McDonald's Netherlands expanded its plant-based range with the new McPlant Steakhouse. That has jackfruit in it. And then in the UK and Ireland, the double McPlant. When I was in Germany, I got a McPlant. So it's in many countries here that aren't even being mentioned. So it's just everywhere there. But as we know, Europe's a different landscape for plant-based things than the United States is. All right.
Would you be the president of McDonald's?
It would be a strange thing.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you're making a ton of money, right? That's good.
Yeah.
I guess you feel powerful, head of one of the most famous brands in the world.
Yeah.
In history of the world. I'm just iconic brand, and you're a head honcho. That's pretty big, but you're doing an awful thing.
Yeah, I mean it's just kind of it's interesting to just based on the work that we do, right? And we're for profit, like we're for making money, of course, like and growing and everything like that. But it's like it's weird to think that to just be like, yeah, like people don't want healthy options at my restaurant. I am here to ensure that we grow selling food that we know is harmful to people.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's not like it's just I guess like if you're like a high-end steakhouse and you say we're not healthy, and obviously people argue that maybe it is, but like I don't think it's something where the goal is like get another billion people to eat this year and like just get it. It's sort of like this is what it is. Let's make a really nice experience. Maybe the price goes up and we can make more money that way. But like the McDonald's, I think they just want more and more people to eat more and more of that food.
Right.
It sounds like the goal of every business, but I don't think it is. I think it's different. It just doesn't seem like it's possible for McDonald's to grow more without the world becoming less healthy. Maybe that's not fair, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, seriously. And you target and you're like hooking these kids to make them loyal to your company. I mean, it'd be like, if you're a t-shirt company, right? And you're just growing and selling a whole bunch of t-shirts, you're not really making people less healthy. You might have some unethical practices or something like that to cut costs. But, you're not like making the world addicted to your product and therefore less healthy. I don't know. It's kind of, it'd be hard for me to do that.
Yeah. It's not that different from I guess a beer or tobacco,
That's true. Beer. That's a good point. I don't think a brewery is the same as McDonald's, but but maybe you're right. I mean, I guess it is. In some ways, maybe causing more harm for certain people.
Yeah. So, and I was thinking there's a lot of people who go to a brewery and drink in a healthy manner, but there's probably there are a lot of people who probably have an okay amount of fast food. It's not right. It's not their all their time diet. It's just sometimes.
Yeah. Interesting.
All right. All right. We got anything else here? No, not really. Garuda says, I've seen the food in the UK. They need to stop trying to bring their stuff to America.
Come on, Garuda.
You got a lot more negative plant-based takes recently. I don't like it.
Yeah. And I mean, like seriously, like McDonald's is an American company, dude. I bet that 20 years ago they were saying to McDonald's, stop bringing your food to America.
They definitely were. And I think they're still saying that over there. All right. Here's one article we got today from Vegconomist. Corn's mycoprotein to be blended with animal pork and served in NHS hospitals. That's Corn, Quorn. I listened to Little Limp Bizkit on the way up to this beach trip, Doug. I was like, I had somehow I got into a 90s playlist. Some song ended and it went into this like random shuffle of 90s songs. And Limp Bizkit came up, and I did not like that song. I think it was Nookie. Didn't like it in high school. But there are some songs that I did not like back then that actually I kind of like now. I just have a little appreciation. I don't know what it is. And I tried this one again, and I just can't. Does not do it for me at all. I thought if I'm gonna listen to this, I'm gonna listen to Rage Against the Machine or something good. There's rap, there's good heavy kind of music in there, but it's this Limp Bizkit. I don't get it. Now I know we're talking about Corn here. No, I put them together. They're one category for me. I think you said they're not for you so much, but they are for me.
Anyway, Corn, QUORN, the food company. What are they up to?
Yeah. So Veg Economist, interesting here. The Veg Economist usually just kind of says the facts. Every now and then they'll put like an opinion piece up. This one, I don't think is like an opinion piece, but they say, first of all, to be clear, that blended and hybrid products are no new thing and have existed for years, etc. As a publication specialized solely in the vegan business niche, we've widely avoided the topic since we do not write about animal products. So I just thought that was an interesting thing. But here's the important line. Corn Foods today announces that Corn Foods, the role in the past was to help a few people eat no meat. We have now evolved into a company that helps everyone eat less meat. And that's that theme that Robert told us about a lot yesterday, a ton. I mean, that was almost the main point of the conversation. It's what we've been talking about for a while with this flexitarian diet. Is that the way to get people to eat less meat is, be flexitarians, whatever that means, rather than try to be totally vegan. And just know that you're going to appeal to a lot more people. So Corn is now embracing that. They're going for it, and what they're trying to do, like the headline said, they want their food service products, including those that go to NHS hospitals. What is NHS? National Health
Service
or National Hospitals? I don't know. Anyway, they're going to be obviously mixing their products in with regular meat to try to reduce people's meat consumption that way. And their reasons, a few reasons that they said to Veg Economist is that the reduction in meat consumption is not happening fast enough or with enough scale. So odd that the solution would be we'll start blending things with meat instead of, trying even harder to make people eat vegan food. And what they're going to do is start making staple products like burgers and sausages and replace the 100% meat versions on menus with these hybrid products. So anyway, they're doing that. You always have to wonder with this stuff, like, is it that they really want to solve the problem and this is now they have to do this since the other way didn't work? Or is it just that this is now the next way to reach into a new market and start, chasing the money, which is probably both. And that's fine. That's how capitalism usually works.
I'm not going to be that cynical and say it's just that. I mean, I think obviously the brand started for a reason, to provide plant-based options for people to probably in the same way that we do, support plant-based eaters and grow that movement and help animals and help the movement. And now they're probably realizing that, that's somewhat short-sighted. And they'll probably continue to have the plant-based meats, but also expand into these hybrid products.
And that's not necessarily, it's not a conflict of interest, right? That's okay. You can chase profit and also continue doing the mission, but you're doing it in a different way. You're not, perhaps there was vegan leadership at the beginning of this that said, no, we would never do that. Like, we are a vegan company and that's our point. So obviously that has changed if it was that way before. But like I said, it's not necessarily for the worse. It might be better, might be more important. According to Robert, it is.
Yeah. So how do you label these? Hybrid products?
That's a really good question. Because they're not the only ones doing this. This has happened before. Robert yesterday mentioned Paul Shapiro, who was head of Humane Society. I don't know if he was the CEO or what, but now he's the CEO of the Better Meat Company. We talked about him a few weeks ago with doing exactly this. They're making hybrid products with their mycoproteins. So yeah, the labeling thing is a good question. I don't know. They do exist already, right? So people have already solved the labeling problem, or at least have come up with an attempt at a solution. But I don't know. I don't know what you put. It doesn't sound like any of it is very attractive labeling.
Are we already doing that to some degree? Because you see, maybe Hardee's has like 100% beef burgers or something like that, and it's almost like they're calling it out as in contrast of other McDonald's patties, or our McDonald's chicken nuggets or something like that. Are they? They did that whole pink sludge thing. Remember that?
Right.
Was there?
Don't they talk about filler? Don't they talk about filler as part of those things, and so how much filler versus how much?
Yeah, and so maybe we're already doing that, and just now they can do it with some sort of thing that actually tastes like meat, or do it in a bigger percentage. At the bottom of this article, Paul Shapiro talks about uses Burger King as an example. So it says reports suggest that on average about 2% of BK burgers are Impossible Whoppers, presuming that all of those Impossible Whoppers were bought by people who would have otherwise bought conventional Whoppers, i.e. not vegetarians. It's a 2% reduction in beef demand, which I'm sure that's not the case.
Of course not, right? It's probably a 0.2 reduction in beef demand because I would say probably half people buying that. So maybe 1%. Let's say half people buying that are already vegan or vegetarian.
Yeah. But then he goes on to say, now imagine that in addition to the Impossible Whopper reducing beef demand by 2%, BK were also to make its conventional Whopper 25% plant-based. In this case, it would be condemned as a half measure or a quarter measure by some vegans, but it would also reduce beef demand dramatically more than offering a vegan option alone, which is absolutely right.
Yeah, right. So like, yeah. So even if they got rid of the Impossible Whopper, but just said all of our stuff now is 25% less meat, like that's just giant difference compared to the difference the Impossible Whopper can make. The question, like, the thing is, that's not an option necessarily, right? It's not like Burger King can just do that. It may be that having the Impossible thing there is the better solution and the better way to get people to eat less meat, because perhaps people would stop going to Burger King if the Whopper was 25%, filler. Because certainly the companies that are like Hardee's or whoever's saying they have 100% beef would just jump on that and say, look, this is a garbage thing now. It's not real meat anymore. It's now this other half stuff,
right?
Or quarter stuff like that. It would never happen. I just don't think Burger King would do that. Now maybe they would do a tiny reduction or something. If it costs way less for them, which it might, then that would help obviously offset some of the loss they get from losing sales. But I don't know. Or would a bunch of people flock to Burger King now because they say this is the more responsible fast food choice? I don't feel like the fast food market cares a whole lot about that.
Yeah. So, I'm looking, McDonald's and Burger King beef patties are 100% beef. McDonald's says that their chicken nuggets are 100% chicken breast.
That means no like sludge stuff, like no lips and a-holes, as far as they say. Like they're not using the others part, the byproducts.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, this is from McDonald's. McDonald's chicken nuggets are made from 100% chicken breast meat.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, there's not much more to say about this corn.
Oh wait, here you go. but the this is from something else. But the McNugget is only comprised of 45% McNugget. I guess the batter and all the other stuff. So the chicken on the inside.
Wow. So all right, let's let this go after one final thought. I mean, I think we kind of were down on this a while ago. We said this is silly, this hybrid meat thing, because now you're not really appealing to anybody. The vegans can't eat it, obviously. Vegetarians can't eat it, and the meat eaters probably don't want it in general, right? When people think when the people eating burgers, I think a lot of them think red meat is a health food. I don't know how many of them think that, but it seems like they do. And to me, like, look, let's ask Garuda. Legends, if you're here still, if someone %, here you go.
No, he's already weighed in.
He beat me to it. Didn't even need to ask. Yeah. Am I delayed here? I think I'm delayed.
Yeah. I mean, anyway. So he obviously, I don't think he thinks the same way as everybody else does. He was like your casual meat eater, but your everyday meat eater. But I do think that people would revolt against a burger that was advertised as 75% meat and 25% pea protein isolate, or whatever is being added. I almost think that there would be more interest, and it would be, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about this, but like if the like black bean or quinoa beef mixture type thing, I can't imagine that Burger King would ever do that, but I bet if a company created a patty like that, people could be interested in that. Certain people.
Somewhere in this article, they mentioned a mushroom blend, the mushroom protein or something. Somewhere else, they mentioned pea protein or TVP. But yeah, like if it was, I don't know, if it was like 3/4 meat, 1/4 mushrooms. Like, do you think the average meat eater, fast food meat eater, views that as a healthier option, even if they think it's not going to taste quite as good? Would they say that's healthier, or is that less healthy because now it has plants instead of the protein?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. That's why it's just I have a hard time imagining this working. I just don't see people wanting it. I think people want the whole thing.
I think the only way it works is if people just don't know it.
Yeah, right. And not that it's a big secret, but it's just not something that's talked about too much or advertised too much. Yeah. All right, so there we go. That's the corn situation. We'll see what happens. As we said, that's kind of a trend, not necessarily to do hybrid meats, but the trend of flexitarianism over veganism as far as how do we spread this movement. That's a big thing that seems to be happening. All right, the other thing quickly is Colorado. My mom told me about this. I didn't know about this till yesterday when I got here actually to the beach and saw her, and she said, "Look, I have these 2 new dental flosses. These are the only ones that will work with the new Colorado law, which goes into effect in 2026. Ban sales of dental floss, clothes, and other household products that contain toxic forever chemicals." I have not read all superficially about it, but what they're banning is these PFAS. That's per
PFAS.
and poly PFAS that people call it, polyfluoroalkyl substances. They're the forever chemicals. They're in certain cookware and things like that. They stay in your body forever. They don't biodegrade. And you eat more of them and they build up in your body, and then they can cause cancer, heart disease, infertility, etc. So Colorado's taking action, and they're banning the sale of this stuff in food and certain cookware, cleaning products. Sorry, not food. Food's not one. Cleaning product, cookware, dental floss, menstruation products, and ski wax even. It will all be banned in 2026. And then after that, in 2028, they will also ban the sale of all PFAS treated clothes, backpacks, and waterproof outdoor apparel. And in the meantime, companies will be required to put disclosure labels on PFAS clothing that they sell. So there you go. I'm curious to hear your reaction to this, Doug, particularly with the outdoor stuff and clothing and all that. My first reaction when I thought it was just dental floss and like some cookware and stuff like that, cooking surfaces, I thought I usually don't like the government telling us what we can and can't do. Like obviously you need some laws, but things that are just there to protect you. I like to sort of make those decisions on my own. For some reason in this one, like I'm kind of grateful to hear this because like I would have just kept on. Well, I did change dental flosses a while ago when I heard about this stuff, but there's a lot of stuff here that they would ban and that I would say, wow, I didn't realize that had this, or I didn't realize I was, using so much of this PFAS in my life. And now like I would have made this choice anyway, had I known more about it and just like would have liked myself to make a change. I don't mind that the law will now require me to make a change. So yeah. I kind of like that. But then when it gets to wearing stuff, like, I don't know about that. That seems a little bit, little far-fetched, but I guess when it becomes to wearing stuff, it's no longer so much about your health, but more about the environment. Is that right?
No, it is about your health. I mean, I think it's about both, but it's about like ski wax, for example. Ski wax gets in the snow melts, gets in the water, water we drink it, and then it gets into your body, right? And it's the same thing with clothing. I think it leaches out into your skin when you're wearing a shirt or something like that, a pair of pants that has the forever chemicals in it. So, I mean, I'm sure it's a little bit, or I'm sure it's in part about the environment, but I think it's very much about your health and just how they're finding that in water sources everywhere and finding it in people's bodies. And so, I think it's good. I think that, this was a chemical that at some point the government approved, right? And now new research has come out and science has come out. And I think it's good that the government would protect you against something that is harmful to your health like that. So, if they didn't, I think that, I mean, even right now, people are screaming about how the government doesn't have your best interest at heart, right? So like, to ban something that I think is as universally accepted as being harmful to your health is not a bad thing at all. And I like the approach. It's like over the next several years, kind of phase it out. I will say it's the chemical was a game changer for the outdoor industry for waterproofing stuff. So hopefully they've found other ways to, to do it. I imagine they have, but they can do some, for durability and waterproofing. And then like, it's, used to be in a lot of nonstick cookware and stuff like that. I think that most cookware has moved away from it because of how harmful it is when you use a metal spoon and scrape it in, and you eat it. But that was like a huge game changer for nonstick cookware back in the day too. So,
right.
I don't know. I think it's a good thing. Hopefully we can just continue to have good quality outdoor products.
I know, and you wouldn't see the thing. I guess the thing is here, there's externalities involved where like if you were someone, let's say it was not outlawed, and people said, I understand I'm taking a small risk here when not even that, but like I'm going to keep buying the, outerwear shell thing that has this PFAS in it because it performs better and it's okay. I guess the problem there is like that transaction doesn't just impact the two parties involved. It also impacts the other people, right? By what you said, the environment, stuff can get into the water and then other people are suffering. So in that case, you do need to have governmental intervention. I do agree with that. So I guess my question was not so bad. I was going to say, like, is there a situation in which you want to keep using something like that? But it's not. It doesn't always. Again, externality doesn't always come down to the individual. I thought it was interesting that the one of these notes here from the American Chemistry Council responded. They had a neutral stance on this. They said the Biden administration's Department of Defense has said that losing access to PFAS would greatly impact national security, because PFAS are critical to DoD mission success, et cetera, et cetera. Why would they lose access to that? Is it because if like this stuff got banned in enough consumer uses that eventually they would just stop being profitable to produce, so then the government couldn't even get it?
Well, maybe, maybe like, can you, I don't know the ins and outs of this law, but let's say the manufacturer of the government's uniforms, something like that, are in Colorado. If it's banned in Colorado, does that mean that they can no longer use it in Colorado?
Yeah, perhaps, but they could move it. But yeah, because if all the states banned it, then
right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah, it is. Anyway, well, so I was gonna get a list of the approved dental flosses or whatever that was left, but I don't have that. My mom had it, so I don't know. Maybe later I'll give you those.
Katie C says here, we need to hold the companies who are creating these harmful products accountable rather than outlawing it. Tell companies they have 2 years to get it together. But how do you do that? Like, how would you hold them accountable without outlawing it? That's the question, right? I mean, you can't fine somebody for doing something that's legal.
Yeah, I mean, the best you could ask for them to disclose it or limit the amounts or whatever. But that is essentially outlawing it. They did say they'd have to disclose it in the meantime between now and 2025 or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have an answer, obviously, to that. All I know is I got off the dental floss a long time ago, following a warning from Dr. Greger. He showed some sort of studies that were showing how it ended up in people's bloodstream. And the stuff I used, that Glide, I think it's Oral-B Glide, which was like the only dental floss that I liked because it was so slippery and it felt like it wasn't even doing anything. It probably didn't even work very well because it was so smooth. That was the only one I liked, but then I got rid of it. Had to get used to the, that rough kind of floss, and now I'm okay. Now I'm used to it. So get off the Glide if you're on Oral-B Glide.
All right. Well, I can confidently say that my dental floss doesn't have PFAS in it because I don't I don't floss ever.
You don't floss?
No, it's just, terrible. Like, I know I should, but every time I go to the dentist, they're like, wow, you take great care of your teeth. You must floss all the time. And I just, for lucky, and I'm sure it's going to come back and bite me in the butt one day. I'm sure of it. It's a terrible, I know I need to be doing it, terrible habit, but I just I keep getting this positive, this really positive reinforcement from the dentist every time I go. And so I'm just like, I'm just going to keep doing what I do,
Yeah. I don't know. I think if they're saying it's okay, you're okay. I remember saying, and I don't know where it is. I can't find it now. But that at some point 5 years ago or so, one of the big dental, associations, I don't know if it was the American Dental Association or not, but they removed flossing from their kind of like, you should do this all the time for teeth health. It just appeared that it actually was not as helpful as thought and not as necessary as brushing. So they got rid of it. But my dentist always tells me to do it. I tell him I do it a few times a week, and they're like, no, you got to do it every day.
I don't even brush it, every day. I'm just kidding. I'm a loyal brusher. No, I know. Let's see. Anne Marie says she uses cocoa. I got off floss after hearing all the risks a few years ago. Taborlin.
That's what
says, I use pink water.
He said he gets his water pick. He said that above that, I think, or maybe lower.
Oh, okay.
What is pink water? Is it a brand?
I get a water pick. Sorry, I totally read that wrong. A water pick, which those things are intriguing to me. They just
How
seem
did you
kinda
read that as
musty.
I use pink water?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where I said that.
Water. Yeah, I've tried one. It's an intense experience using a water pick. But
Mm,
honestly, I probably would do that more than I floss if I had it. Um, there's also this heart health thing. Kate says better for your heart, and that is the
mm.
thing. There is definitely this association. I don't know how strongly it is proven as causal, but between heart disease and flossing, and even longevity in flossing, there is associations that have been identified.
But
So
is it between oral health and
yeah,
heart health?
I think that's probably what it is. It's probably the connection is that
Uh-huh.
more flossing means less oral health problems, and those oral health problems are somehow linked to heart disease.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, that's big. Heart disease scares me because because it's in the family. If there's one thing that
Yeah,
scares me,
I know
about walking
it
around.
is scary.
Mhm.
It really is. All right. Well, that's it. I apologize for my issues today. I'm traveling on the internet, and there's like 20 people in this house, I think, who are probably all using the internet right now. So that's the problem. All right. So that's it. We're off next week. So we will not be back until what's the date of that day? Do you know? It'll be sometime in July, Tuesday,
Tuesday the 11th. No,
July
no, no,
11th.
no. Sorry, that's June.
Okay.
Tuesday the 9th.
Tuesday, July 9th. All right. That's when we'll be back. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope everybody has a great 4th of July. I can't wait to hear what kind of plant-based or vegan meats everyone has. I'm serious about I'm going to go to Whole Foods. I'm going to go to Walmart. I'm going to try to hunt down these Oscar Mayer dogs.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope one of us can procure those. I would like to try them. So yeah, do your best, Doug.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening. Thank you for a good week of shows, and we'll be back July 9th. Enjoy your holiday.